So, transfer deadline day is over. I'm here to give you my overall thoughts on the summer transfer window. I want to give you the positives, the negatives, talk about the outgoings, talk about the incomings, and also give you guys my overall thoughts on whether or not Luton could have done things a little bit different in it, and just give you my overall thoughts on the summer transfer window. But before I do, please drop a like, comment below your thoughts on the summer transfer window for Luton. How do you rank it? And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. So let's talk about the outgoings. I thought Luton did quite well in the outgoings. I feel like I was expecting more first team players to leave. I think the players to highlight are Alfie Doughty, Elijah Adebayo and Tiedo Menji. I think those three players in particular I was kind of expecting to go. And the players that actually did leave the football club I wasn't expecting. Apart from Barkley, I think we all expected him to go, let's be honest. But in terms of Ogbeni leaving the football club and potentially Osho, I was expecting a lot more. Let's be honest, I was expecting a lot more. But let's go through them and talk about them. Barkley, he was always going to go. Let's be honest. You don't put those performances in for a team that got relegated from the Premier League and not to return back. So for the fact that Luton got 100% profit in the deal, I think the fee was reported between £4 to £5 million, potentially more. It was undisclosed. So hopefully he does well with Aston Villa. I think it's a good move for all parties as well. Villa, they're going to be playing a lot more games this year. They're in Europe. So he is going to feature for Aston Villa. I know he's made a few sub appearances recently. McAtee, someone who at the time I was very vocal on that he would not get any first team football with Luton because we had too many attacking players. And sending him to Bolton I thought was the correct thing to do for the football club. We also made some money back. Also, if he does well at Bolton, we also make some money. Andros Townsend, I actually thought would stay at the football club, let's be honest. But I think because games are happening Saturday, Tuesday, you know, 2 games a week and that, I just don't think Townsend can handle that much football because of his age and where he is in his career. So a move to Turkey was probably an ideal move, but what's happened behind the scenes between between Luton and the Turkey team is a little bit baffling. But obviously the Turkey team have a transfer ban and Townsend currently doesn't have a football club because he's officially not a Luton Town player. Luke Berry, he wanted to play first team football. I think it was a correct decision for both parties. We couldn't give him what he wanted. And I think that's only fair to let him, for someone who's been such a great player for Luton, to give him what he wants. He wants first team football. We can't give him it at the football club, so we have to allow him to go. Of course, I would have loved Luke Berry to stay because I do think he can play a part in what we're trying to do. But he wants more football. He wants more minutes. And I just don't think Edwards is prepared to give him that. And I think it's only fair to allow him to go and play his football. He's back under former Luton manager in Nathan Jones, and he's playing regular football in League One. Osho, I was 50-50 on him on staying at the football club. I wasn't too fussed that he left, but now looking back on it now, maybe he should have stayed for the first opening games of the season, but he was out of contract, and when you're out of contract, the club don't have the power. The power goes to the player, and he managed to get himself a really good move. He went to France. He's now playing in their top division. So, look, wish him all the best. And then Chio Ogbeni, someone who I did not think will leave the football club, but for £8 million, that fee is too good to turn down, in my opinion. I think Ipswich are paying way over the odds for him. So I think it was the correct decision to allow him to go. We're also not playing to his strengths. For me, he's a winger. He's not a wing back. So if we're not going to play to his strengths and we've been given a fee that's way over the odds, then I think we should accept it. So yeah, Chio Ogbeni is now a Premier League player. I never thought I would say that after last season, but he had a good year last year. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think many clubs would be after him in the summer window. But the fact that overall we managed to keep Menji, Elijah Adebayo, Doughty, our goalkeeper and Thomas Kaminski, I think that's a good window in terms of outgoings. Now let's talk about the incomings. Incomings took a bit of time, didn't they? I think what's happened is, because we've got a very strict financial structure at the football club, it took a while. And basically we had a list of players and we were going down that list and we were trying our best to get these players in at the football club. So for example, we were after a centre-half. We managed to get McGuinness in from Cardiff for a fee that's apparently reported about £8 to £10 million. I don't think McGuinness was our number one centre-back. I think we had maybe, I don't know how many of the list, but just say for example, we had 15 centre-halves. McGuinness was probably number 8 on that list. And we were going down that list, and we basically either we couldn't get the player in because of the financial structure, or that player decided to go elsewhere, or he didn't want to come to the football club. You know, there's so many reasons on why footballers don't want to move. It could have been any of them. But that's what I think's happened throughout this whole transfer window. I think a lot of our targets, which we wanted, just didn't become available to us. I don't believe we did it on purpose and waited until the season started to make some signings. I don't believe that at all. That isn't the Luton way. That hasn't been the way the football club has performed and acted over the last couple of seasons. So it does come at a bit of a surprise that it took a lot longer than normal. Of course, being a Premier League team, being a former Premier League team with loads of money, that could make clubs put their value on their players over the odds, and we're not prepared to, to pay that sort of money. I completely get that, but I can't lie, I was really disappointed with how slow we were, and I feel like it has impacted the way we've started our season. We look very imbalanced at the moment. We don't look fluid within our play at times. The players don't look like they're gelled enough, and this international break that's happening right now, I think has come at a perfect time for Luton. I think it's the perfect time, and I will talk about that in another video. But yeah, in terms of incomings, it has been a bit of a disappointment. But let's actually talk about the players that have come at the football club. So Baptiste, I think is Barkley's replacement. I think at the moment, the system isn't helping him. When we talk about Barkley, we talk about Barkley with Lokonga in that centre mid role, in those centre mid roles, and I feel like at the moment there's a proper imbalance in the midfield. Baptiste needs to have that freedom role which Barkley got given, but because we don't have a defensive minded player that's fit and available, because Nakamba is coming back from injury, and also Tom, our German superstar, is currently injured, who provide that defensive side of things, we're kind of in balance. Because when Barkley didn't have Lokonga next to him, Barkley wasn't the same player. He needed someone with that defensive side. So when Baptiste has maybe a Nakamba next to him, I feel like we would get the best out of Baptiste. And also, Baptiste has been involved in both of our goals this season. He was the one that put in the cross for Alfie, who headed it back across goal for Chong to score. And he also was involved in the goal against QPR, where he put the ball, he chipped it over for McGuinness to head to the to have a chance at heading at the goal, and it was obviously bounced back out, and it ended up being an own goal. So Baptiste has been involved in 2 of our only goals so far this season, but he needs more creative freedom. The next player which we got in on a free transfer, basically a free transfer, was Walters from Arsenal. He's been the one standout performer for us, and now Chio Ogbeni's not going to be at the football club. Walters basically has a first team spot within the group. It's going to be him and Hashi competing for that right wing back spot in my eyes, and with Hashi still probably a few weeks out, I think recovering from his foot injury, then yeah, Walters has got that time to claim a spot in the first team, and he definitely looks a real good player. I really do enjoy watching him play, and the funny thing is he's not the finished article either, so he's got so much development in him. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him. Tom, our German superstar, I'm really excited to see him perform. Obviously, I haven't watched much of German football from last season, but to play over 20 times in the German, top flight is something to be proud of. He's also played a lot of football over the last 4 years. He is high regarded by certain supporters, so I am excited to see what he can bring in, and I hope that when he does come into the side, he brings a really good balance, so we're able to perform a lot better in the midfield. I do think we are going to move to a 3-man midfield after the international break. I've already mentioned him already, but McGuinness, I feel like he will come good in the end. I think he needs more time to gel within the team. I feel like with defenders, especially defenders, you have to come in at the start of the season to form those really good partnerships amongst each other. But because we've had such an imbalanced pre-season in terms of players being injured and not being available, him forming good defensive partnerships with Reece Burke and Anderson and Menji and Amari Bell, it's going to take time. But once he develops those partnerships, I can see him being a really good player. And also, I've already seen his leadership skills within the team. Walsh, and again, another player on a free transfer. Edwards knew about him from years ago when Walsh was coming through the ranks as a professional footballer. He does look good. He really does. Of course, the question is, can he stay fit? Once he stays fit and becomes more available, he will feature. I understand where Edwards is coming from because he is a different type of midfielder to what we got. His passes, which he tries to do, are like killer passes which can split a team open, and you need kind of someone like that to unlock a defence. And I feel like if we can keep getting him up to speed, keeping him fit, giving him as much game time as possible, he can also become a really valuable player at a free cost. Now, if we are going to move into a three-man midfield, I think he can also thrive under that. So I feel like that is probably going to be the plan, because we've got a lot of midfielders at the football club. You've got to try and keep them happy. So it kind of does make sense that we are going to move into a three-man midfield, the same kind of formation and system that won us promotion out of the Premier League. And then the last player which we managed to bring in was Lamine from Sweden, our Spanish centre mid, who we basically don't know nothing about apart from what's been told to us. Because let's be honest, how many of us have watched Swedish top flight football? But yeah, he's someone who's coming in January. We're going to have to wait and see what he brings. That makes me think even more that we are going to move into a free, because he is another midfielder. We've got so many midfielders at the football club. We've got Baptiste, Clark, we've got Walsh, Tom, our German superstar, Nakamba, Pelly, Lamine, that's coming through. So look, we've got about 6 to 7 midfielders. You've got to try and keep them all happy. There's no point playing a two-man in midfield, because then you've got a load of midfielders who are not happy and they're not playing any football anytime soon. What's also really good about this summer transfer window is that we managed to keep Joe Taylor. I think that was really important. He's a different type of striker. He plays, on the, what's the word I'm looking for? He runs, he's a runner. He isn't someone who you put a ball straight to him and you let him hold it up. He gets in, he runs in between the lines. He's on your, last shoulder as a defender. So someone like him offers something different, and I do think Joe Taylor will play some football this year, especially in the first, 6 months of the season until January at least, and then we can reassess him. Is he ready? Is he not? If he's not ready, send him out on loan. But he needs to get given a run in the team, and as our strikers are not performing at the moment, he definitely should be, I say, getting more minutes. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts on our summer transfer window. I am disappointed with how slow our recruitment has been. I think it has paid a price to our start to the season. I think it's been probably a very tricky summer window, probably the hardest one in the club's history in terms of bringing players in, which is a shame, because I thought it would be a little bit easier because we do have a bit of money, but it hasn't been. But overall, if I was to rank our incomings, I would rank it a 6 out of 10. I think not replacing... Well, let's be honest, we've had 3 attackers go and we've not brought in an attacking player. So that's a problem. Townsend, McAtee and also Ogbeni have all gone. 3 are attacking players. We've not replaced any attacking players. Edwards came out and said he wants 1 or 2 players in. We were heavily linked to attacking players and we didn't bring anyone in. So that I would have to give a 6 out of 10. But look, that 6 out of 10 could move straight to an 8 out of 10 if, our few of these new players that have come in end up being real standouts. So we have to wait and see. It's a patient game, isn't it, this year? But yeah, those are my overall thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.